Hello, everyone. It's William here at Allegory Gallery. How are you all doing today? Oops, I forgot my banner up here. There we go. There's the banner. Hello. It has been a wild day um, here. Sorry, I'm still getting some settings updated here. There we go. All right. How's everybody? Hello, hello. Marianne is here. Hello, Marianne. Suzanne is here. Hello, Suzanne. Susie's here. Hello, Susie. And Kimberly's here so far. So thank you all for being here with us. We really appreciate it. If you're out there, please say hello. Um, we have we have redone the comments over here. So hopefully y'all can see each other's comments a little bit easier now. Susan's here. Hello, Susan. Um, I like that they did that. They gave us some options to change this up so that hopefully you can better see one another. And sorry, I forgot to turn the sound off on the computer. We got to make sure the sound's off here and that we are rocking and rolling here. For some reason, it's not on my screen, but hey, who knows? As long as you're all seeing me, that's what counts. We have been doing so many things. I feel like my brain isn't really functioning wholeheartedly anymore. I've been doing the kind of things, that just like tying up some loose ends before we leave. And yeah, so if you don't know, we're leaving for Italy in um, in like a few days, 3 days, 4, 5, 6, on the 6th. We leave on the 6th in the evening. And that's wild to me that it's almost here already. And we have been, oh, Andrew's saying I was using Zoom on the computer, so that's probably why the sound is on. Yeah, I think it also turns the sound on sometimes by itself because I feel like it's on every time I sit down, whether anybody's been in here or not. Angela's here, I see. Yes, Angela, there she is. Hello, Angela. Thank you for joining in. So we are leaving on the 6th, and we're flying out of Pittsburgh. Andrew says, I'm not ready. I don't feel ready either. We are trying to do so much, including having the funds to keep everything going. The start of the month is always like this big thing. There's always so many bills that come in right at the first week. And so we're trying to get through that and then work on having things ready. I've been shipping today, trying to get packages out for people. I did some more in the D stash this weekend. So if you missed that, check that out. The D stash technically ends at 9 p.m. Eastern time tonight, but I'm not going to end it obviously until after this live and after I've done the spreadsheeting for the live. Hopefully, there's some spreadsheeting to do for the live. So if you missed that, I put a lot of check glass in the D stash. So if you missed any of the episodes of our check glass, the new arrivals and all that, you might want to take a look through. I don't know how many lots of check glass. I think there's at least 50 lots, close to 50 lots of check glass, maybe 45 in the D stash right now. And some of y'all grab some of that. I appreciate that. But if you haven't seen that yet, go to Andrew Thornton Project D-Stash on Facebook and check that out. Yeah, so did that this weekend. It was a busy, it's been so busy. Friday was our show. I can't even imagine we haven't talked to you since then. It feels like it's a long time ago, and yet it just was here. And so we did the Hexenfest after we had, I don't think I've talked with you all about the car breaking down. That was a whole thing. Did we talk since then? I don't think so. I think I just posted online since then. Did I say hello to other Susan? Hello, Susan. Marion says, got my order today, delivered to my door. No extra charges. Yay, still need to. I'm glad no extra charges. They told me it was going to get there earlier, and it didn't. So, but I'm glad it got there, and I hope it got there okay. You went to go run errands. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think we talked about this yet. I feel like I've been talking about it so much, but I guess we didn't talk about it. I went to go run errands on Friday before the show. We wanted to make some prints for the show on Friday night. The show Friday night started at 6 and it was 6 to midnight, Hexenfest. And that was kind of a great, I mean, it was a good show and it was a lot of fun. Anyway, I went to run errands Friday morning and I got the prints made, which was good. I was coming back home and the check engine light came on. And I thought, okay, this is not great, but let's take it easy and try to get home. And, I was in Latrobe, which is only about 13 minutes away from home. So I'm like, okay, we can do this. And then just about as soon as that thought passed through my head after the check engine light came on, the car stopped accelerating properly. And then it accelerated way too much for for the amount of gas that I was giving it. The engine started really revving. So that told me that there was something most likely with the transmission. And I was able to get it a little bit further. It started kind of working itself out a little bit. So I thought, okay, let's keep doing this. Let's keep going. So I kept going. And I got to a point where it really was not feeling great to keep driving, but there was nowhere to pull over. The stretch of road that I was on it's one way, two lanes, one way. It splits the road because there's a river that runs between them. So one side going west is on one side of the river and the side going east is on the other side of the river, but both sides they have like carved through the mountain. So there's a pretty big hill on the side of the road where you would normally pull over, which does not leave much room to pull over. So I kind of made the car go as far as I could until I found an okay place to pull over, which was technically a drainage ditch. I guess there's a lot of water that comes off the hillside, and they put a ditch in there to collect that so it doesn't go onto the road. So luckily, that was big enough for me to get pulled over. Messaged Andrew, messaged my mom. My mom got a hold of my dad. My dad called me because he was a mechanic and car person, and he took me through a few things. I was able to continue driving a little bit using the manual shift because it was working in first and second gear. I couldn't go above 25 miles an hour, but I could go 25 miles an hour and it seemed fine. So I was able to do that. To get to a place where there was a big pullover, and we tried to shift just before that up into third, and that's where like all hell broke loose. Third gear was not happening. And so I was able to get it at least to that point where there was a really big pullover, and I pulled over there. And by really big, I mean the car fit without hanging out onto the road. And the tow truck it was long enough that the tow truck was also able to come in because we did need to be towed. Um, let's see here. Susan asks, how many lives will you be doing this week? I would be freaking out if I were going out of the country. Yeah, you know, we really shouldn't be doing lives, but we also are trying to make sure that we do have money for the trip and have money, maybe to not just do the trip, but enjoy the trip a little bit, and then also pay all the bills that need to be, that are going to be auto deducted while we're not there. So we are going to be doing lives this week. I don't know if we're going to get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're at least doing Monday. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's getting to be crunch time. Andrew says, of course, I stayed up all night making stuff for the show and had just gone to sleep. Yeah. So when I tried to text Andrew, he was sleeping. Um, so I couldn't get a hold of him. Luckily, my mom, I was able to get a hold of her, and she got a hold of my dad. We got it to a place where a tow truck could at least pick us up, because it would have been extremely dangerous where I had originally had to pull over. So thankfully, we're being looked out for, because we made it far enough to a larger pullover, which was still dangerous. Um, Let me tell you, the woman who came with her tow truck to pick up the van told me that 9 people had been killed locally in the last 30 days because of traffic accidents, because people do not slow down and do not move over when they see a tow truck. Um, and I can 100% vouch for that now, because I'm like the law is, if you see a car in distress pulled over, Pennsylvania law is that if you can move over, you are legally supposed to move over. And this is a 2-lane road, both going the same direction. So there's a passing lane, easy to move over. We were kind of around a bend, but it was easy enough to see in time to have quite enough time to move over. Now, I understand if 2 cars are driving, one can't get over, then you slow down, right? Um, but legally, you are supposed to move over if possible. People did not. Um, there were many, many, many cars that did not slow down, did not move over even when possible. Like, there were only, I would say, more cars kept going as they were than actually slowed down or moved over. It was a little bit scary. Um, and the amount of space, because there wasn't much space still to pull over, the tow truck was able to get over past the white line. But when she was loading the car, she was about a foot from like being on the other side of the white line. Like, when she would bend over, she was hanging out on the road, and that's just the way it had to be. Um, and so I stood back behind the car, back behind the van, behind everybody, to try to get people to see me first, thinking if they see a human standing by the side of the road, maybe instead of just seeing the cars there, seeing an actual person might get people to like think, oh, I should move over. It did not. They didn't care that I was standing there. They didn't care if I was waving and saying move over. Um, uh, the one thing that I actually saw, um, there was a flagger force. And I don't know if you know who they flagger force are. The flag people that sit out on construction zones to direct traffic. A flagger force truck came through, did not move over, did not slow down, and I was just stunned. Um, so anyway, I was talking with her a little bit about that, and she said that is not abnormal. That was like just a normal day. Um, Kimberly says, sounds like Kansas and Missouri. I think it's a law here too. Yeah, it's definitely a law here. If you see a car pulled over on the side of the road with flashers on or in distress, you are legally supposed to move over if possible. And if you can't, you are supposed to slow down. Andrew says, part of me feels like we're in the upside down. Like, people don't give an F. They don't move over or turn their brights down, or then drive so much more aggressively. Yeah, it felt like people were like speeding up. Like, it was so weird. Suzanne says, totally agree with you in this, Andrew. Andrew also said, people are wild. Folks are sprinkling screws and nails in the road to purposefully damage people's tires. Yeah, that's another thing we're going to talk about too today. Um, So, hello, Susie. Thanks for joining. So, finally got the car loaded up and on the tow bed, and it needed to be on a big tow truck. It was loaded up onto the tow bed, and luckily they had room for me. No one had to come pick me up, and they took me to the garage where my family gets a lot of their stuff done. And so it is now there. We have not heard about what's happening yet. It could be as simple as a speed sensor, I've been told. Cars now shift electronically. Whether you knew that or not, I don't know. My dad said it used to be they had a cable or a rod that would go into the transmission and literally shift gears, but now they all shift electronically. So it could just be, um, they said it's something as simple as a speed sensor. I guess there are speed sensors tell it how fast it's going and when it should shift and all that stuff. Hopefully, it's nothing more than that and actually damage to the transmission. Um, my dad says he doesn't understand how it could be damage to the transmission, but we never know. Um, but the van is fairly new. It gets a lot of miles, but we always check for fluids and check things, and um, doesn't seem like there was any reason that anything should happen unless it was some kind of faulty something. So we'll see. Who knows? Hopefully, um, we hear good news and it's just something simple. And it says you need to have an emergency kit that has flares, etc. Also, doesn't PA have a number similar to 911 for road trouble? I think we do. Um, I mean, uh, you would think the tow trucks would carry flares and things. I mean, we probably should too, but I don't know what is also legal to put up flares and when and where. So I honestly don't know if that's something that, even if I weren't on that larger piece of the road, if that would be something that's legal just to throw up. I don't know. I don't know that. Um, but yeah, but we had AAA, and thankfully that worked out. So we didn't need the road trouble number. Um, but yeah, it was an ordeal. And we're hoping for the best outcome. We'll see. I'm a little bit anxious about that, but I'm trying not to be and not let that bother me and not let me worry about that trip, get in the way of all that. Um, and yeah, so around here, apparently it happened in Philadelphia and a few other places around. People are throwing screws, like building screws, roofing screws, like those kind of screws, onto the roads on purpose. At first, people were thinking this was an accident, and it was like, people who were roofers and they lost some screws off the back of their van or something like this. But it has happened enough, and it has happened a number of times in the same spot that we now know that it is on purpose. And so people are going around throwing screws, mainly apparently in front of businesses here in Ligonier. Um, and many, well, various towing companies and garages here in the area has said there was a significant uptick in the amount of flat tires that they've had calls on in the last 30 days. Um, I think the one place said they had 30 calls in the last week or 2 weeks, something like that. Um, so that's something that's going on. Businesses are now going out and cleaning the roads before they open for the day and picking up screws and checking this for screws before they open, because it is apparently um, happening often. And over again. Now, some businesses have cameras set up, so I don't know if they have seen anything, if anything has been reported. Um, I don't know. I mean, if somebody's driving by and doing it, throwing screws out the window, you're never gonna. It's gonna be a hard thing to figure out. Um, if it's kids running around doing it in the middle of the night, then maybe if they're not driving, you might see something. But if people are just driving by and throwing screws, it's gonna be a hard thing. So we hope that ends soon. So that's a whole thing that's been happening here. Andrew says, just pray we don't bust any tires. Yeah. Marion says, yes, the sensor went out on one of my vehicles some years ago. Yes, I'm hoping that's just what our car is having done. Sue says, ECATS, William, so glad you are safe. Your misadventure sounds harrowing. Yeah. And so that was the morning of the show. The show's setup was supposed to start at 3:30. I was still on the side of the road, I think waiting for the tow truck at 3 o'clock. And then we had to get to the garage. We still had pellets in the back of our car because we had gone to get pellets for the wood stove. So we had a half a ton of pellets in the car that they towed with us. And my mom came to pick me up in the. She got my dad, and then they came to pick me up in her truck so that we could load the pellets in the truck and bring them back to the house. So we did that, unloaded them in the garage here because we couldn't get. I didn't want to take the time to take them up to the cottage, so we unloaded them in the garage. So we got all the pellets in the garage, and then I had to get ready to go to the show. So I, quickly cleaned up, got dressed for it, and ran up to the cottage to pack for the show because I didn't pack the night before because I was like, I just have a few errands to run in the morning. I'm going to run those errands. I'm going to go up and pack. It'll be a nice leisurely time. And I did not need the full amount of time for setup. So I knew I could get there a little bit late. Um, but I was flying like in my brain, trying to get up to the cottage and think of all the things I needed to pack. And I now had a smaller car that I didn't know how things would fit in because we bring these little trolleys and things and to carry things around. And so luckily I got most of what I wanted. I didn't get any extra things done. I was going to dye sublimate things that day. I had plans to make some prints. We made those prints. We didn't even get those cut up and ready. And so I just packed what we had and what I could, threw it into the car, and ran up there because I had about an hour. I was going to get there with about an hour to set up, and I had 10 minutes to spare at the end, and got set up in time, thankfully. Thankfully, there was parking there. I was able to park and pretty close and get into the building and all that. And then um, my mom and aunt came up for the show after all that and came out and hung out. They came and hung out with me, um, and got me some food from the. There was a grilled cheese truck at the show, so thankfully they were able to grab me some food because I hadn't eaten all day because I was being towed around. Andrew says it was also during the day, so I don't know how effective that would be. Tow truck should carry flares. Um, let's see here. Marianne says WTF. I don't know what that's about, but right. Andrew says, oh, it's so much more than just Philly. Wyatt replaced his tires in Maine, and my friend Jade in Tennessee had to replace her tire. Oh boy. So this has to be a thing that's going around, that people are seeing. Um, and people are trying to say that it's political. That's what I've heard. But I'm like, tires are tires. You don't know whose tires are going to pop. That is, if that's political, that's the dumbest way to protest because you don't know who you're hurting with that. Not that you should do that anyway, but if you were trying to go after one side or the other, no matter what side would be doing it, you're getting everybody when they're driving by. Um, so I don't think that really makes sense. I feel like that's people trying to turn it into something that it isn't. My guess is it's kind of probably something, we used to throw corn at cars I mean, I didn't do it, but people that I knew did it. They would take dried kernels of corn and on Halloween, generally, anytime pretty much in the fall, it could happen to you. People would literally hide in cornfields and wait for cars to drive by. This is the kind of exciting place I grew up in. People would hide in the cornfields that still had the corn stalks up, and they would take dried kernels of corn, not on the cob, thankfully, but kernels of corn. And when a car would come by, they would throw them, and it would smack on your windshield and scare you. But it never, I mean, it didn't do much damage. It was just kernels of corn. Um, that's what we used to do um, for fun. That was the kind of trouble kids got into then. Now they're throwing screws and ruining people's tires and causing a lot of money damage. So that's not great. I don't know if it's kids. I don't know who it is for sure. We don't know. But I am assuming that I'm assuming that they could be held liable for a lot of money if people got together and if they found out who it was and found out how many people's tires have had to be replaced. I think that's like real charges. So I don't know. I don't think it's smart, but um, but apparently it's a thing that's happening all over. So who knows? Um, Mary Marianne says, but otherwise it was a successful show. It was a good show. Um, of the shows we've been doing this year, it was a good one. Um, and it was definitely worth going. We made our table fees back, made some more in addition to that, gave away a lot of business cards, talked to people um, about what we do. And so there were some people local, and then there were some people who were definitely not local at all. And so it was a good mix of the crowd. Um, it was kind of medium, I'd say, business-wise, as far as the shows we've done. Some have been much slower, some have been much busier, but it was a good show, and it was the first year for this show. So I think it has a lot of potential um, to do really well. And they held it at Bottle Works is the name of the business, the nonprofit that they held it at. And that's where Squonkapalooza also was held. And it's always a good time there. I really like what they do. And they seem to generate a good crowd there, which is really good. Um, so yeah, it was worth being there. It was worth rushing to. I wish I had more of the things that we had planned to bring, but we at least, we sold some of the stuff we still had, which was good. Um, let's see here. Andrew said they bought you an eyeball. Yeah, and I think where did oh, I think that's downstairs by the other computer. My mom and aunt, my aunt, she got me. There was our friends. I made friends there. Our friends Fibra Obscura. They do crochet and knitted and felt things, and they had a felted eye in a bottle. I don't know if you saw my stories. I posted on stories about that, but that was kind of cute. My aunt got me one. She saw me looking at it, and I was just about to buy it, and she's like, "I'll get it for you." So that was really cute. WTF about the screws, right? Yeah. Um, Andrew says, I think it's just spreading general chaos, right? Something done flipped in their brain and they got the devil head. I know, right? A lot of devil head going on right now. Andrew says, when I first heard of folks throwing corn, I thought it was ears of corn. Yeah, no, they would at least take it off the ear. It's like when you dry out the corn for field corn to feed your deer or feed your crop, your animals, farm animals, or my grandparents fed the wild deer and turkey with field corn. But you let it dry, and then you pull it. But when you dry it, you can twist it right off of the cob pretty easily. And they would twist it off and then chuck it at a car. And like it's scary. Like it generally didn't do much damage. It wasn't even like rocks. It was just kernels of corn. I'm sure maybe there was some damage, but it more scared the driver, which was not great because it's always in the middle of the night. They would always do it nighttime where nobody could see them. So you're driving down, like usually it was done on back roads, um, because most of the main roads didn't have cornfields by them. So it was when people came down back roads, which at least it was that, but um, some of our back roads are small, and you hear something hitting your car, who knows what's going to happen. So it was not dangerous, but um, it wasn't screws that are definitely going to pop your tire if you drive over screws. It's kind of like when people were throwing rocks off overpasses. Yeah, that's going to do damage, right? For sure. Um, Susie says they are telling people to keep receipts. I don't blame them. because if they do find out who's doing it, there's going to be a lot of possible charges pressed. Um, and it's not good. Um, Marianne says, considering people who drop rocks off overpasses here getting major shit. Yeah, I bet. Um, Andrew says, we've been doing stuff with Bottle Works for over a decade. I used to do their holiday show back when Teresa was the executive director. Yeah, yeah, I like them a lot. And they always generally do their location in town, and they're well known enough that they really they do, if something is happening there, oftentimes the crowd is a little bit bigger than other places we've been to. Um, Andrew says, I'm thankful no one has gotten harmed with the screws. It's so dangerous. I know, right? You're popping people's tires, multiple tires, possibly. Um, yeah, that's not good. It's not like just running over one loose screw somewhere. You could be popping all your tire. Like, who knows? And when they're going to go out and what speed you're going to be going when they finally give. It's really scary. Miriam says, what some people think is fun is beyond me. I know, right? Me too. So anyway, that's some of what's been going on here. Saturday and Sunday are blurs. I was at the store. I had a really good day on Saturday with people coming in. Our friend Diane and her husband Jeffrey came in, and they sat with me. They came in just to have me kind of repair a necklace that had a broken toggle. And um, then I was like, do you want to do it? I know you know how to do this. And so she sat down to do it. And then she got into it. And she's like, I want to make a coordinating bracelet. So she made a bracelet. Then she had her husband make a bracelet because she wanted something that he made her. Um, Using beads she picked, but he put them together in his style. So that was kind of really cool. And then she was going to make another bracelet. And I had another person come in, who's our friend from a bookstore over in Somerset, a few towns away. Um, we had stopped in there when Andrew was getting some of his tests done, and she stopped in to look for some things. And I was helping them, and I came back, and Diane had a whole nother necklace put together. Um, so she really had a great time, and she admitted to me that she's been literally dreaming of beads since the last time she was in. And she doesn't have a lot of time, but she's like, this could be something when I retire that I could really get into. And she's going to try and make it in more often while we're there, or while she's still working too. And so that was really fun. Had a nice group of people coming through. Had some people in on Sunday yesterday. Friends from Crescent who came in, and she makes bookmarks. So she buys beads every once in a while to make to use with her bookmarks. And so they came in. It was nice to see them again. And yeah, so it was a good weekend. Um, it was nice to see people in the store. Business wise, it was not a huge weekend, right? But it was nice to see people in the store. And that's what we really want to see, is having people in. And we appreciate everybody who stops in. We always say that, whether you spend, $5 on some beads or $500 on some beads, it's just nice to have people in the store and really, especially sitting down with people and making things. Let's see here. Oh, Andrew says, when we were looking for buildings in Johnstown, I originally hoped we'd end up near them. Yes, we were trying to. Um, you met the daughter of the person who used to open the building. Don't know what that means. Open what building? Um, Andrew said the Laurel and Leaf. Yeah, the Laurel and Leaf bookstore in Somerset. Super cute. Lots of great books. Very well curated. And Renee is the owner, and she said she's doing well, which we're glad to see. She was in Johnstown. I forget the name of her store. She changed the name of the store when she moved, and it was more, I think, targeted toward kids. They used to have some kids games and children's things, and when she moved, she changed that a little bit. And Now it's YA, but it's also adult stuff, and um, just it's a good mix. It's a really well curated bookstore. So if you're in Somerset, make sure you stop by the Laurel and Leaf. Um, Marion says, "I think that was so neat that her husband made something for her." Yeah, she always talks about. She was talking about so much how whenever he sits down to do something, he's just good at it. Usually, like he catches on quickly to things, and so she wanted him to try, and he was game for it. So he jumped right in and had a good time making stuff, and it was really pretty what he made. It was really nice. Um, Andrew says, "I was kind of disappointed about my classes not running. I was hoping to have extra money for the trip." Yes, two of Andrew's classes did not run, which seems so strange to me because they were both ones that were very targeted toward the kind of holiday season, and I really thought they were going to run. Um, he was doing the face sculpting, which I thought would have filled up easily, but it did not. Um, and then also ornament making with powder coating, glitter pickles. Who doesn't want to make glitter pickles? Apparently, not enough people to run the class. So that was extra money that we thought we were going to have, and we are not going to have for the trip. So that is um, one of the reasons we're doing the lives this week. um, and we're also having a sale in our online store. So you can use discount code CHOW and save 25% off at allegorygallery.com. 25% off using discount code CHOW off everything in the online store right now. So anything, if you need anything, please grab it. That will help us with our trip. Um, we would appreciate that. And yeah, so we're trying to push for things. Um, let's see here. Oh, who used to own the building. Yes, that's what he meant. Own the building. Yes. Betsy Helsel stopped in. That was another person who stopped in this weekend. I don't know how I forgot that. There's so much going on. Betsy Helsel, our building was the Helsel Grocery and Deli Butcher, originally, our Johnstown building. And Betsy is the granddaughter of Dwight Helsel, who built the building and ran his business there. And she had stopped in Ligonier for a little bit, but she's never stopped in to Johnstown while we were there. And so she made it in, and she brought her family back on the next day, on Sunday. Some of her family, her sister and brother-in-law, and um, I think their grandson, and they came in and just kind of looked around and looked at the building, and they really like what we've done with it. They appreciate that we've kept some of the things that were always there, um, and they were telling a few stories, and we figured out we've had a picture of a woman that we had no idea who she was. There was an antique store in there after us, so we didn't know, or before us, we didn't know if the picture was actually just leftover from the antique store, or if it was somebody that was really related to the building, but it ends up being Mary Elizabeth Helsel, which was Dwight's wife, so her grandmother. So we have a picture of her grandmother. We have a picture of him standing with some of his employees and family. The one guy used to do delivery for them in the photo, and so they came in, and it was really nice. She bought a little collage from Andrew, which was nice, and they had gone to Italy, so we were talking about that, and they were recommending some places. So it was really nice. Um, Andrew says, "Oh, the bookstore was called Young Hearts in Johnstown." Thank you. I couldn't remember. Andrew says, "Somerset is hopping. Scamps moved there." Yeah, apparently Somerset is the place to be. Right. Andrew says, "Usually my classes have wait lists." Yeah. Um, you know, what ends up happening oftentimes is that, we're always saying there's a space left, or there's one or two, and then the week of or a few days before, they fill up and then need extra. And sometimes they put extras in Andrew's classes. Um, and we've had that happen a number of times, where they've asked if it's okay to add a few more. Um, or create wait lists. He's run some of his classes twice because people have wanted to sign up for it. But these two, for whatever reason, did not happen. So um, that was a little bit of a hit for the trip, but um, we're doing our best. Suzanne says, when do you guys leave again? We leave on the 6th. Thank you, Susie, said the 6th. Yes, Thursday. Is that Thursday? I think that's Thursday. 3, 4, 5, 6, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yes, Thursday. I think our flight leaves around 8 p.m., something like that. I'm pretty sure. I hope I have that right in my head. So we have to be at the airport in the afternoon sometime and get ready to go. It's going to be wild. Andrew does a lot of traveling and has traveled a lot more than me, but traveling internationally, I have only ever done it once as far as flying internationally, and Andrew has never done it. So this is like a big experience for us. And I didn't do it. I did it when I was like 20 something, 22, 21, 22, something like that. So it's been over 20 years since I've done any kind of international travel, big travel like that. So it's, Andrew says, last time we flew was when my dad was sick. Yeah, that was the last time we flew. And then this kind of big flying, um, rarely, very rarely. So, yeah. But I think we're pretty well ready. Like as far as we got the passports, we've got the tickets, we've got the stay. Um, we've got to figure out things like the train or the bus from the airport to where we're staying. That's something we still need to kind of figure out and make sure we're all okay with. Um, and other than that, that'll at least get us there. But we do not have our clothes together. We do not have any of this. I was hoping to go buy some new jeans because all my jeans are ripped and torn, and that's, I'd like to get new ones to be presentable there, but we'll see if that happens or not. Um, that all depends on if we bring in some sales or not, whether I spend the money on that. Because technically I'm fine, but you know, you know. Um, but yeah, so that is what's happening. Andrew says, I was going to ask my mentor about the train situation, but her husband had a medical emergency. Yeah, that was another thing that happened. Andrew was planning to ask a bunch of questions on the kind of things we've been thinking last minute here, and he ended up not having the meeting because his mentor in Italy had her husband had a medical emergency. And I won't. It's their thing. I won't get into it all, but um, he's doing okay from what I've heard. Um, but yeah, that was sudden and not expected at all. So we didn't get some of the questions answered yet that we were trying to get answered. So we're gonna do our best. We're gonna do our best to try to figure out the train and bus situation as much as we can, um, to get us to get us to our apartment, our Airbnb in Italy. Um, so that's that. That's what's happening. We are we are I don't know. That's about where we are right there. Um, Latreno. Yeah. Um, um, Thankfully, my mom and our friend Susie is going to help watch our cats. So they are taken care of, and I hear they've been talking back and forth, so that's good. Um, and they are coordinating things and all that, so that's great. Cats will be taken care of and well cared for while we're away. We've stocked up on food and on cat litter and things like that. Um, so that at least is out of my mind. Um, and I appreciate that from both of you all. What airport are you going to? We're going to Florence. Flying into Florence. I don't know what the airport's name is. It just comes up as Florence. Um, we're flying out of Pittsburgh and we're flying into Florence by way of multiple airports. I think we have a stop off in Germany. Um, we have a layover in Germany. for a short time, and then we head over to Florence. So that's that. And I don't think we're going to be in Germany long. There was one that we were going to be there for like 8 hours, and that kind of would have been maybe cool if we could have gotten out and done something, but you don't want to do that with all of the with all your luggage and all that. Vorrei un biglietto per il treno, per favore, right? Um, yes, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Um, so yeah, that's where we are. That's what's going on. Um, I'm a little nervous because I'm always nervous before a trip, and this is a big trip, and um, I would have had liked to have a little bit more cushioning before we left. I thought we had more cushioning, and then bills happen, things happen, and some things that you thought were going to come through haven't come through. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Andrew says we need a new suitcase because your kids are devil heads. Yes, that's a thing. Um, we do need to get a new suitcase because our cats peed in our suitcase at one point. Barnaby has feelings about leaving and left his mark. Yes, he did. So that's not coming clean. That's just I'm not going to pack things in there. Um, so even though we cleaned it, we tried to clean it. It's not good. So we need to get a new suitcase. We need to have our carry-ons and our personal item bags and see what we can put in there. I went to I went to my doctor today and had to because I have never gone on a I've never gone on such a long trip trying to think about medications, and I take a number of medications now. um, I used to never take, and when you're young you don't take medications a lot of times. I take a lot of medications now, not a lot, but sometimes they don't like to over prescribe, right? They're not going to allow you to fill your prescription unless, like, my prescriptions get filled within just a few days of me running out. And so I had to go to the doctor's office today because I tried calling, and all they do is tell you to call your pharmacy and have them request it. And I'm like, I don't know that they're going to understand what is going on. And so I I went into the doctor's office. Thankfully, they were there and they could talk to me. And I had to explain and we're going on a trip for 2 weeks, and I'd like to try and get my medication ahead of time. And they're like, well, depending on where you're going, you might be able to pick it up there. I'm like, it's in Italy. And they're like, no, there's no Giant Eagle pharmacy in Italy. So they're like, we'll try and get this through for you. So they did that. And I got a message from my app telling me that the prescriptions were sent, but I have not gotten a message from the pharmacy saying that they're stocked yet. So hopefully tomorrow I can pick up those. They are probably going to be expensive because my one is very expensive. Um, I mean, for us, it's very expensive. Um, and so that's not something I'm looking forward to either, but at least I'll have my medications for the trip. Uh, let's see here. Marion says, depending on where in Germany, the airports aren't that close to cities. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I don't know. I can't remember um, what one we're flying into. I don't remember. Um, Suzanne says Barnaby is good. He is a good boy, but Andrew said it's gone, right? He is good, but he's a butthead sometimes. Yeah, he's a very good boy, but he has some things he does not like. He doesn't want his daddy to leave him. Um, and he likes to protect the house in certain spots in the house. So that's not always great. Um, Landing at Frankfurt's airport, we had to take a train into the city. I'm trying to think where. um, let's see if I can see if this computer will look it up real quick. This is the old computer, so sometimes its search feature is not as quick. If I could type correctly, that would also help. It's pulling up every email except the actual ticket. There it is. Pittsburgh, then we get off at DC, and then Munich. We fly into Munich, and then Munich to Florence, I think is how it goes. Yeah. So Pittsburgh to DC to Munich to Florence, and then Florence to Frankfurt to DC to Pittsburgh on the way home. So we are going to Frankfurt, Marianne, but we're only going to be there. Let's see. I think we have an hour in Frankfurt and only 2 hours in Munich. So not very long, but enough time that we should be able to make our connecting flights, hopefully. Like, that's the whole thing too, right? I didn't want too much time in between, but I wanted to make sure there was some time, because when I flew to France, one of my flights, they were literally, I think, holding the plane for me because I was one of the only people getting off of a certain plane. And I had to actually, at the airport, leave security, re-enter in another area in through security. So I had to go through security instead of just doing a transfer. So I had to do that. And then I was running to try to catch my flight and make sure I didn't miss my flight to France. Um, and they saw me. I was probably soaking wet. And they said, "There you are," when they saw me running in. And they were very nice to me because I think they understood what was going on. But yeah, it was. So when I did this, when we would look at these tickets, there were all different tickets we could choose. One had like an 8 hour. I was like, we don't want to sit in somewhere for 8 hours, but these have like 1 to 2 hour transfers, which I was like, that's good. That gives us some time generally to make sure that we catch our flights. Um, Let's see here. Andrew says the one is 500. The one prescription is technically that. I do get generally a coupon that helps somewhat with it, but also one of my other prescriptions is nearly $200 and I get no help. There's no help with that. And that's for my thyroid. It's very expensive because I use a porcine thyroid, whatever. Insurance doesn't really cover it. So it is like a $200 medication. And that is not something that I planned for. I thought I might have enough, and I might try and get that when I get back instead, but we'll see. I don't want to necessarily be without anything if I can help it. And then the other ones are not too bad, but the $500 one, as long as the coupon works, can be at least not so bad. Andrew says also, if Barnaby doesn't get his way, he will be bad, right? Marion says, at least our hotel is close to the train station. That's good. Andrew said Munich. Yeah. So Munich on the way, Frankfurt on the way back. Passing through Germany. I've never been to Germany. That'll be the most I'll be in Germany is through the airport. So yeah. So that's what's been going on. Marion says, I won't tell you what I pay for my thyroid meds. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it's not $200. At least I hope it's not $200. But yeah, so that's that. That's what's going on. So for today's show, to get into what we've got going on today, I pulled some random things, and then we also have some new things. So we're going to mix in some of the random things with the new things. And I hope you all like them enough to buy some maybe and help us on our trip again, because this is all going to help, and maybe pay for a a suitcase, and we just buy the cheap ones, y'all. We're not going crazy. But get a suitcase and maybe pay for my meds. That'd be great. Um, Marius is not even close. Yeah, I know, right? Andrew says, I've been asked to do uh, stuff during Munich Jewelry Week, maybe next year. That'd be cool, right? Go to Munich again next year. Who knows? Who knows? Okay. So, what else is happening? That's it. I don't know. Let's get the show started. How about that? I didn't cut enough papers though. Let me cut some papers. I should have been doing that while I've been chatting with you all. So, what have you all been doing? How was your weekend? I talked with some of you, kind of talked with some of you on the D stash over the weekend. I asked some questions and people were answering some of those questions. So we kind of got together a little bit there. But what else have you all been up to? Anybody do anything fun? Anything creative this weekend? Why, hello. What are you bringing me?
Hopefully you can sell these. I think
Oh, finish those.
I wanted to have them in like a show and do it at the store, but since we need a suitcase and then some,
Right.
I can't really remember what we charged for the 24 minis.
I don't actually remember.
It's been a minute.
I have two things in my head and I don't know which one it was.
You can look it up. I know we sold some online.
Yeah, I don't know if I titled them that way.
24 minis.
Yeah, when I sent the invoices, I mean. Let me see. Did anyone buy one and they know what was going on? Let's see here. Marion says the thing to see in Munich if you have more time is the Glockenspiel. Yeah, I'd love to see a lot of stuff. I don't know. We're not going to have time for all that, though, I don't think. Let's see what the 24 minis was. Hello, Kathy. Number 1543. I don't know what that means. You've written it twice, though. Oh, and then my camera just switched. Look at what's going on. I don't know what's happening. What is happening? There we go. Let me see, because these should be the same price, he says. And I don't remember what that is. Anybody else do anything fun while I'm sitting here doing this? Somebody entertain us. I'm begging you. Somebody look at this. What is happening? The camera's going to entertain us. I don't know why it keeps doing that. All right, this is ridiculous. Hello, Kathy. It says 1551. What you saying, Kathy? I feel like I recognize your name. I feel like you're not spamming, but I don't want to remove you if you're a real person. Let's see here. Where, oh, where? I got to go into the archive stuff. $24 minis. They were $98. $98. Oh. Andrew says someone decided to lick the cans from the trash instead of eating food on the plate. So that means that there's trash. Somebody got into the trash cans down there. Suzanne says Andrew Thornton, not Barnaby. I do doubt that was Barnaby. He would not. He generally, he's not food motivated enough generally for that. Barnaby's not a food motivated boy. So I do highly doubt it was Barnaby. I have my suspicions, but yeah. And it's getting, I just realized we never took the air conditioner out of this window, which is why it's probably chilly in this room. I need to do that before we leave for sure. It's a little bit cold. I'm a little cold today. And the kind of dry air is giving me a cough. Anyway, Marion says, I would suspect one of the girls, right? Andrew says, maybe she needs help with an order, but if that's the case, she should email. Yeah, and that order number would be way low, I think. Yeah, that order number, that's what I was thinking at first too, but those order numbers would be like super old order numbers. What is going on with the camera tonight? This is gonna make me crazy. That's like the 6th time it's done it. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's see here. Yeah. Anyway, if anyone ever has issues with orders or questions, best place to do that is emailing us. Just for FYI for everybody. Mookie has been getting into cans I rinse for recycling, says Susan. That's not good. Those kids. All right, let's flip the camera around and hopefully it'll stop. When is Mercury retrograde? I don't know, Marianne, but let's see. Susan says, stop flipping. I can't drink that much. I know, right? It's going to be Mercury retrograde, so you have to roll with it, says Andrew. I know. When is that happening? When's the official date for that? Because I feel like, let's see. November 9th. So we're in the shadow period, right? The shadow week before. Is that they call it shadow week? Yeah, that makes sense. So here we go again. Let me just flip the camera and hope that that'll stop it. It doesn't seem to do it too often once I flip the camera around. But we'll see. And it doesn't do this to like Andrew's phone. And this is a new phone. Like it should not. If there was something, I thought there might be something wrong with my camera because I always had issues flipping my other camera a little bit. Andrew says, take a shot. Andrew says, plus there's a full moon coming. I know. I looked up at the sky. I feel like just like 2 days ago, I was talking to Andrew and we were saying about how pretty the moon was, this little thumbnail, little fingernail moon. It was so nice and just small in the sky. And now I looked up today leaving the cottage and it was like almost a full moon. And I was like, what in the world is happening? How is time going that quickly? anyway, I didn't get myself. Let's do, these are going to be ITL numbers. ITL, wonder where that came from. Let me just make sure I've never done that. I don't think I did. No. ITL lots tonight. Marianne says full moon is tomorrow. I thought it was very close because when I looked at it today, it looked very close. And I usually get a little bit depressed during full moons and extra anxious. So yay. No wonder my brain is running on overload about things and getting ready and having enough for the trip. No wonder it's happening. Andrew says, maybe give them a break for the paintings for introduction prices. So how much, Andrew? What do you want to do? I'm going to start with should we start with the paintings, everybody? You want to start with the paintings? I think that'll be good. Sorry, I have to take a drink. There's Andrew back. Boy, he's like here and there and here and there, bringing me a heater. Good, thank you.
Can borrow my Blue Cow Sydney.
There we go. I don't know where mine is.
Oh, well, that's nice.
No, I think it's in that cup. Okay. Got the blue Chalcedony now. Andrew brought me a heater.
Almost broke my teeth this week.
Don't break your teeth plugging in the
Are
heater.
you ever gonna sell your little pinch pots?
I tried selling them on here. Nobody bought them.
ones?
Yeah, those ones I showed. Nobody bought those.
Maybe running again. Maybe people didn't see it.
Okay, I can run those again too. I don't know if I gave them actual numbers. I think I just said, if you want them, let me know.
Because these ones look so cute, and your last batch sold out.
I know. He says, sell them all. What kind of breaks did you want to do? Because we did these for 98 before.
Maybe 78.
78. Okay, we're going to start the show with that. Marion says also that is probably the real date of Samhain. Is that right? Samhain.
Mhm.
Samhain, right? Spooky time.
Yeah, there's like the date, and then there's the astrological. So I know a bunch of people that are like, they don't celebrate on the 31st. They celebrate when they're astrologically.
Astrologically. All right, y'all. Please share this video too. We've got 13 people watching, it looks like, tonight,
13.
which is low for a Monday, but
Usually we have like 30.
yeah, I don't know what's happening. It's
Probably
that time.
whatever that
What-
Kathy is doing.
Whatever's going on.
Claiming on somebody else's thing.
I know. All right. I don't know what's happening, y'all, anymore. We're just rolling with it all tonight. This is the first painting by Andrew Thornton. And these are 5x5. 5x5 painting / collages. And he's doing special introductory pricing for you all. Was 98, $78 for this live. Help us make some money for Italy. Please note that at this point, most likely anything purchased this week is not going to be shipped until we get back. That's I'm trying to get out as much as I can before we leave. And I have a few orders that are in progress still that I'm trying to push through before we do jump on the plane. But most things will not leave, probably everything ordered in the D stash. I also let them know all that if you're going to go in the D stash and things through this week's lives, whatever days we decide to do the lives this week, they will not ship until until like 3 weeks, at least 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now, somewhere there, 2.5 weeks from now, when we get back. So this is the first one, ITL 1. ITL 2 is this one. Oh, and let me actually bring up the email. Where's my email? There it is. And let's bring this over so I know if anything's selling. That's always nice to know. Oh, it's getting warm in here. Mary says, like that, the feathers look textured. He did a good. He did a good job on those, right? It's collage, drawing, painting on a wood panel. Andrew says. I thought you were going to step up here and talk about them, Andrew. He says I got things to do. Still working on some things down there. I think they're 6x6. I think they're 5x5. Yeah, 5x5. ITL3. Oops. ATL3 is this one. I'm trying to cut the prints. Yeah, he's working on those prints that I was getting when our van broke down. So he's working on those to get those, because we're also going to show those to you tonight too. I love these. I love the black and white of the birds against the very colorful backgrounds. Andrew says the one is a dove and the other is a house sparrow. Dove, house sparrow, and a robin. ITL 1, 2, and 3. Whoa, whoa. It's not good. Stop doing that. Move this over here. Make me a little bit crazy. Okay. All right. Move this one up here. Move this one up here. Move this one over here, since you couldn't see it very well over there. ATL4. And then next up is this one. Look how cute that is. And then the last one is ITL 5, which is this one. That's a goldfinch. Goldfinch. I was gonna say goodfinch. I don't know, goodfinch. Goldfinch, Andrew says. And this one, this looks like is this a bluebird, blue jay? Or is it a cardinal? It's hard to tell without the color. Because I think they both have that kind of look, right? I don't know my birds very well. Blue jay. See, that's what I thought. Okay, I was right. Maybe I know them better than I think. ITL 5. And those are the 5 paintings that Andrew has been able to finish out of his new series. You're seeing them here first. So again, we have the dove, the house sparrow, the robin, the goldfinch, and the blue jay. All right. And I'm going to move those aside. All original artwork by Andrew. Collage, drawing, painting. Andrew says, I wanted to call the show Birds of a Feather. Andrew says, oh, there went my camera. I used to talk to the house sparrows in Central Park. Yeah, he did. He always told me that he could talk to the birds. And he made these noises. And, you know, people say things. And I was like, okay, you can talk to the birds. It's all right. I can talk to my cats too, right? And then he, at one point, we were in the park We were at the park or was it the Bethesda Pavilion? We were somewhere together. Maybe it was in the park. And he made these sounds, and a whole flock of house sparrows landed around him. Like he called them to him, and they all at one time just came flying in and landed around him. And I didn't doubt him after that. Um, but his accent for Pennsylvania birds hasn't been quite right because he hasn't been able to do the same thing here. ITL6. I sell these for 27. These are my little pinch pots that I make. ITL6. This is this purple one with the triangles, $27 each. Only one available. ITL6. ITL7. Next one up is this one. Andrew says, I don't talk to the birds here. Yeah, he really doesn't. He doesn't go out for walks the same way. Try to gather his bird army. This is ITL7. It's one of my dishes. ITL8. Is this one. Marion says, I haven't seen these pinch pots. Yeah, see, I showed them a few times. Well, I showed them once at least. But some people may not have been watching. And I didn't really give them numbers. I think I just said, if you like them, send me a message if you want, or a screenshot. So I'm giving them numbers today before they go into the online store when we get back. Andrew says, I talked to the bunnies. I know, I talked to the bunnies out there too. This is ITL9. I think this is my favorite. I love how this one came out. They're all signed on the bottom. ITL10. Let's move this down here. I think that's going to get in the way. Is this one? ITL10. Marianne says, I greet all crows and magpies and the snowshoe hares. Nice. I always nod to the crows and various blackbirds. Okay, there, that'll fit. Andrew says, my idea for the bird show is that there are all these different birds, but we're part of a big flock. To me, birds symbolize freedom. That's nice. ITL 11 is this one. This one came out a little bit darker than I thought, but the more I see it, the more I kind of like it. The glaze gathered a little bit more in the sides, or in the corners than I thought it would, but I kind of like the look. So got that one. And then ITL 12. Is this one. And those are the newest. I think that's it. Yeah, those are the newest pinch pots that I made. ITL 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay. And then ITL 13. Let me see something real quick. All right. And ITL 13 is, I'm going to move this up a little bit, is this pot that I did. I don't know if you've all seen this. And that's ITL 13. I'll do that at a special price for y'all, $48. $48 on that. One of those available, obviously, one of a kind. And that's ITL 13. Andrew says, I'm almost finished with the sculpture that I've been working on. He's been working on that a long time. A long time. Oh, and it must have hit 9 o'clock. There we go. Change my coloring on there. All right. Okay. Let me move these over. No takers on these. Not into the artwork today. It's all right. That happens. Let's move over here. Okay. Now, let's see. ITL 14. Now, we brought in some new stones. And let's see here. First up, this is 12. ITL 14. And got these cool stone strands. These are a tube shape. Let me show you. This is a moss agate. Technically a tree moss agate. And they are $12 a strand. And they are approximately 4 millimeters by about, let's say 13 and a half, 14 millimeters. And I've got 3 strands of these, ITL 14. Andrew says, I can't remember who asked for tube-shaped beads. Yes, somebody was asking. So Andrew brought in some. ITL 14, $12 a strand, 3 strands available. Let's see, next up. We've got more of the tube shaped. These are the Dumortierite. There's a little bit more, $16 a strand. Technically, they're called Sunset Dumortierite. We sold one of the 14s. Thank you so much. First sale, thank you. We appreciate it. You have ITL 15. This is the Dumortierite. Same sizes. Beautiful Dumortierite. I love Dumortierite. It's so pretty. And, oh, I didn't tell you, length on these strands. These are 16-inch strands. ITL 15. And then these are also 12. Susan says, Andrew, I think that was Anne who's looking for the tube beads. Could be. Is Anne out there with us today? I haven't seen her name yet. Sometimes people lurk without saying hi, though. We have Crazy Lace Agate. Crazy Lace. These are really cool. I think these are really pretty. Look at how pretty those are. Beautiful tube shaped. 3 of those available, $12 a strand. ITL 16. Now, I don't know. I haven't seen the person, I don't think, who's been asking for these. But Andrew got them in. And let's see here. We have, these are 16 a strand only. This is a really nice quality for 16 a strand. ITL 17, 6mm lapis rounds. We finally got some nice quality lapis rounds. I know our friend has been asking us for 6mm high quality lapis. Look at how beautiful these are. Only 16 a strand. 6mm. Look at that lapis. So pretty. Marian says, what is 16 again? Crazy Lace Agate. Crazy Lace Agate was 16. Beautiful deep blue lapis. Gorgeous color in those. $16 a strand only. 3 strands available. And let's see here. Let's move these over a little bit. Okay. And ITL 18. Let's see. I get all those. I got all of those. Susan says the lapis is mesmerizing, right? I think so. It's so pretty. Let's see here. These are also 16. ITL 18 lapis tubes. Gorgeous lapis tubes. Oh, one's broken. That's no good. Anyway, that happens sometimes. Didn't notice that when I was checking them in. Beautiful lapis tubes. 3 strands of those available. $16 a strand. Let's see here. Oh, we sold one of the 17s. Thank you so much. I don't think I shared this with on my personal page. Let me do that. That might also be why we don't have as many. I usually always share it on the personal page. There we go. Maybe that'll help get some people in here. Okay, Marianne's switching to the TV only. All right, Marianne, thanks so much. Andrew says, I got my new Audible credit and the new David Slayton book came out. It says Redneck Revenant. There's also a new Holly Black book and a new Alex Harrow book. Nice, lots of good books, right? Okay. Oh, I forgot to bring up bags. And I took the bags away. Andrew, I put some large bags, some of the 16 by 9 bags in the stuff I brought home. They're in a bigger plastic bag. Can you bring them up if you're still watching at the moment? Or else I can come down. They're in one of the bags in the kitchen. Move these over for now. Okay. ITL 19. These are really kind of unusual, and I love them a lot. Let me see, these are only 14 a strand. These are mother of pearl tubes. As I can come up, good, thanks. These are mother of pearl tubes, the 4 millimeters. And let me see if I can get the lights on them because they have so much beautiful color and chatoyance in them. They're so pretty. Mother of pearl tubes, 4 millimeters, $14 a strand, 3 strands available. Anybody else out there who hasn't said hi yet? Please say hi. Let's keep this conversation going because it really helps the algorithms when people say hi, when people talk. We've sold one of the 16s. Thank you. Da, 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 da. ITL 20. What's the next one we got here? I know we have some tiger eye lovers out there. see, these are $12 a strand. 3 strands available. I've just sold a 19. Thank you so much. That all really helps. We really appreciate it. Beautiful tiger eye. 4mm tubes. These ones are a little shorter than the other ones. They are more like 4mm by, well, let's see if I can get on here, by about 8. Let me see. They're hard to hold because they don't fold up easily. But look at how pretty those are. That's some nice quality tiger eye. $12 a strand in the tubes. 3 strands available. ITL 20. Let me chop up this. I hate these long tails. Let's see here. ITL 21. Okay. This one is going to be African turquoise. Andrew says he likes Barnaby's long tail, though. Yes, I do. Long tail boy. All right. ITL 21. African turquoise, which is a jasper. If I'm not mistaken. 4mm tubes. ITL 21, $14 a strand. And then one more tube. Let me move some of these over again. Make some room. Susan says, I call my Smoky Mr. Longtail. Yeah, Barnaby's got a long tail too. Long tail boy. This is serpentine, and they're only $10 a strand. Got a good deal on these. ITL 22. $10 a strand. Thank you. Serpentine. That's a beautiful dark serpentine too. Thanks.
You can hear these.
Okay. How much we doing on those? Same as the.
Oh, they're not there anymore.
I took them all. They're in this
I
month.
think they're $5.
Yes.
So how come you're not talking to them?
Huh? Because you came in. I was talking to you for a second. Trying to adjust this.
Go which Tim?
Yeah. So, okay, now let me put these away.
Yeah, these are really great. For if you do those like Chandlu style bracelets.
Yeah.
There's
kind
also
of ladder kind of stitch.
ladder stitch, and then also they make great kind of like dash and dot kind of necklaces where you mix it with rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also you could do these, they're really cute. I used to do these with just put it on the end of a head pin with a little bead and sell them as earrings.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're super quick earrings if you want to just make real quick, nice earrings. You could do dash dot dash, like you could do that kind of thing, just like Andrew said.
I kind of feel like gemstones are gonna, I mean, you know how sometimes things kind of like go in waves. I kind of feel like gemstones like this, they make a kind of a nice line of things.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of people instead of doing like there's these real high-end designers, and instead of you know, focusing on like precious metals, they're moving towards beads and stuff. So I think there are people who are kind of more interested in, you know, colorful and things with symbolism.
We've been seeing a lot of that lately, like you said, instead of the high end stuff, because things are getting expensive for certain things. People are starting to turn to other materials, even the higher end designers, and using them in different creative ways.
Mhm. And like layering stuff too.
And also, I've noticed like when we talk to people who are in other fields and doing other things like metalwork and enamel and you know when we say we have a bead shop, people are very interested about it. Like I feel like there was a time when people didn't really look at it like as much. And now people are like, oh, and they're very interested in what we do and the kind of things we bring in.
Well, I think that the beads are seeing a lot of resurgence in major kind of things. Like there was a show of this Native American artist, and his name is Nico Williams, and he did a whole big show at the Brooklyn Museum. And so there are different organizations that are kind of, you know, like the Metropolitan and stuff like that, who um, are really kind of embracing beadwork finally. And so I think it's pretty cool to see that happening. And I think with the prices of metals and stuff going up, it is something that uh, people are kind of exploring more now.
Yeah.
So it is interesting to see that.
Yeah, it's good to see. We love it when people get more interested in beads, but it's being more cross-disciplined, I think, starting to be than ever. Well, at least in a long time.
Yeah, I think it goes in waves, you know, people are interested in it. So I'm excited to see what people make of these.
Yeah.
People had been asking for tube beads and for those round beads and stuff. And I know my own work, I've been playing a lot with color, and even if it's just like real subtle, like
What have you all found yourself gravitating towards recently in your work? What kind of things have you been playing around with? Anything new? Any different new styles or trying anything different? Or what have you found yourself really focusing on in your work? What has inspired you all lately? I'd love to know. You've a number of people have been posting some really nice things in the Design Challenges group and on their own pages that we've seen recently. But I'd like to know where the kind of where your heads are at, what ideas you're coming into, what things you've been interested. Kim says Kumihimo at the moment. That's cool. Hello, Kim, by the way. Kumihimo. That's something I feel like fiber. I think we talked about this a little bit too. Fibers are definitely on an upswing right now. Do Did you see Tom Daly has his own show now? He got into, as you probably know, into crochet and has his own line of things, but he's hosting a show now um, on, I think, Channel 4, British, um, about a crochet knitting fiber competition, which is kind of cool. I wish we could see it here, but I don't know if we'll ever see it here. Maybe it'll come out on, they'll show it on YouTube or something. You can get a look at it. But it's definitely something people are getting into again. And I feel like fibers and mixing and all that is really starting to happen more and more. What else is everybody else doing lately? What have you all been into? Sorry, I'm trying to talk and write at the same time. It doesn't always work very well. So these are prints. They are not the originals. These are prints. And we made these, well, we tried to make these. This is the thing that I had run out to try to make for the show because I wanted to have prints. We wanted to have prints of some of Andrew's artwork. But unfortunately, the car broke down. So these never got to see the light of day at the show. Andrew says, I wonder if we can watch it where we watch the pottery show. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping we're going to be able to see it somehow. But these are, we picked a certain number of these little creatures that Andrew created for spooky time. And we had them turned into prints. And I think the prints came out so good. We have them in these hard-sided cases for y'all. But I think they came out so good. Let me pull one out. See if I can pull this out of here to just show you. Like, look how nice those look. Super beautiful. Really well done on thicker paper, which is really nice. And then, not only that, Andrew has still signed and numbered each one of these. So these are prints. They're only $5 each. Figure would give you something if you didn't get one of the originals or the original you wanted, or maybe you wanted more than one, but could only afford one or two of the originals. So now we're offering the prints on some of them, not all of the. We didn't do all of them. Anderson, some people at pottery and baking, same people at pottery and baking show. All right, let's see here. And then let's do, and let's see here. Susan says she's been working with check glass, quartz, pearls, and mixed metals. That's a nice combination. Like I'm already in my head picturing things. And you have been, I know you've been showing some of the earrings you've been making. And I love seeing all that. ITL 24. This is one of the other ones we did a print of. Andrew says, oh, Andrew said there's a fashion show called Sewing Bee that I want to see. Yeah, I've seen that too. I've not seen it, but I've seen about it. Andrew says, I'm really pleased with the colors. They look very close to the originals. Andrew says they also did a jewelry competition called All That Glitters. Did we watch that? All That Glitters? I feel like we did. We chose this little witch. Andrew did a number of witches. We chose this one to get the prints of. Signed and dated on the back, also numbered on the back. Only $5 a print. ITL 24. ITL 25. Interesting. I think they only did one season. Yeah, I think so. Susan says, why, thank you. Thank you for sharing. It's always awesome to see what you all make. And this is this guy here, this mummy. I love this one. And particularly, um, somebody was talking about this the one day and talking about how, I think it was this one, it might have been one of the other ones, but they picked it up at the show and they were talking about how they loved Andrew's artwork because um, there were so many colors that you wouldn't expect. Like if you do a mummy, like me as a normal, not artist, general person like that, would be like, okay, it's white bandages, so you make them white. But they were looking at some of the white that Andrew does, and it's not ever just white. It's always these all different colors that he uses to create that effect. That's ITL 25. Andrew says, which one of the paintings sold at the show? I think two of them did, and I can't remember which two, to be 100% honest with you. I don't remember which two actually sold. Okay, let me see here. And put away the African turquoise. And pull the other ones off the strand here too. Get all of those. And I'm going to pull away the serpentine. ITL 22. All right. ITL 26. Anybody else have any comments on what they've been working with and using lately? What have you found yourself interested in? Trying to get some comments flowing here and get some people talking, chit-chatting. ITL 26 is this one. Oh, let's see here. Andrew says, like, there are ones that I think will definitely sell, then there are ones I don't think will go, and it's always surprising to me what actually gets picked. Yeah. Sometimes there are surprises, for sure. $5 each for the prints, ITL 26. All right. ITL 27 is this fun dude here. Andrew says, I've been working with red and white beads, LOL. Yes, he has. Constantly for days and days and days. ITL 27. Let me see. How can I do this? Let me put these. Got lots of bags now. Let me just use the bags. Put these all in bags. So they keep them together, keep them numbered together. Turn 3. Move to 4. Oh, I had a Barnaby here. Andrew says, like, I made a zombie painting because I thought it was fun and fit with the theme, but I didn't really think it'd get picked, and this famous enamelist who I really admire picked it. See, isn't that, you never know. You never know what people are going to enjoy, what they won't like. It's part of being an artist, right? You never know. A lot of you out there do shows, you understand. You never know what's going to go. When you make stuff, you make a bunch of stuff and hope that people are going to like it. ITL 28 is this guy. This little creature, little fun, happy little creature. It's ITL 28, $5 for the print. 3 of them available. Anybody have any shows coming up? We're working on a show possibly with hopefully with Bottleworks. They're doing a show for Small Business Saturday. So we filled out an application for that. Even though our store is in the same town and Small Business Saturday, we want to try and hopefully maybe Andrew will be in the store and I'll be at the show or vice versa. And we'll get people in for Small Business Saturday coming up. That'll be the weekend we get back pretty much from Italy. We'll have a few days to prepare for that show. But if we get in, as long as we get in. Let's see here. Andrew says, I kind of make what I want to now. I sometimes adjust things based off of suggestions. But when I have tried to make things that I think will sell and kind of force myself, it doesn't usually work out. Yeah, you got to kind of make what you're feeling, right? Have you all found that when you do shows or when you make things for people? You got to kind of put yourself into it. ITL 29 coming up. Dracula. Yeah, these came out so good, these prints. Like they almost look, it's so good. They almost look like they're painted themselves. It's really cool how good of a job they did with these. Kim says, I don't sell, but if I don't like what I'm working on, I stop. Yeah, you got to like it, right? You got to enjoy the making of it, I think. You know, sometimes when you're making things to sell, sometimes you just have to, put out a bunch of stuff. You make even if you don't enjoy them, something sells well, you want to make it. But when you are selling, there is part of that, I think, sometimes, but it's always best, I think, if you can follow your heart and really be in tune with what you're making. This is one that I thought for sure was going to sell out. I don't think it did. I don't think I sold this one. I thought for sure. This is one of my very favorite ones of this whole series. And I think it's still available, the original too, which is wild to me because that was one of my very favorites. Andrew doesn't usually use text on things. And I think that was really cool. And not text like that. There's text in a lot of his stuff from various things, previous works, but. And then there's this one, ITL 31. And ITL 32 is this friend. Oh, let's see here. Whoops. Andrew says, it's kind of like books. I hate not to finish a book, but nowadays, if I'm not gelling with the audiobook, I just stop. Yeah. There are other books, right? There are other things. You gotta fill your life with things that you enjoy, right? Things you like doing, things you enjoy doing. That's how they say you manifest your best life, right? Do the things you enjoy doing when at all possible. Do the things that bring you the most joy. The Pumpkin Friend is one of my favorites, says Andrew. Right? I think I love this is one of my favorites. These two were some of my very favorites in that series. Okay, Barnaby Heron there. Barnaby Heron. Mhm. There's a series that I like, but the narrator is so goofy, so I couldn't bear it. Did you stop? I, Andrew was saying, oh, he was talking about that the other day. That the series was so good, but the narrator that they got to read was not his cup of tea. That was kind of ruining the book. I didn't know if he'd actually stop or muscle through it, but there's this friendly character. Look at that big bow tie. That's kind of cool. Sometimes you notice things but don't notice things. Like I have looked at this many times and I just now realized, like really realized how big the bow tie is. Isn't that funny? Sometimes you see things in another way at another time, right? All right, an ITL 34, the last one of these is this one. I just saw, oh, there it is. I was gonna say, I saw comments pop up, but they didn't pop up for me yet. Andrew says, even though the book last night, even the book last night, whenever they made the main character talk, she sounded so whiny. I was on the verge of stopping several times. Yeah, it's hard when they do that, right? Sometimes can kind of make or break it depending on who's doing the reading. It's one thing if the book overall is not your cup of tea, but it's probably a lot harder. I don't listen to a lot of audiobooks, but I kind of get it. It's probably a lot harder when you actually like the book, and you like the story, but you can't stand the narrator. I do, even though I don't listen to a lot of audiobooks, I often, when I look at reviews for a book, I'll often go into Audible or other places and read also the reviews for the audiobooks just to see. And a lot of times it is that people are like, the book was so good, but I couldn't get through the narration. It seems to happen a lot. Oh boy, and I haven't even thought about dinner yet. I think, well, yesterday we made burgers, fake burgers. We got Morningstar Farms burgers and we had those. And I think we have enough to make again tonight. So I think we're gonna have just burgers again tonight unless Andrew transforms it into something else. But burgers are pretty quick. And I think quick is gonna be good for us because I'm going to be continuing to pack some orders up tonight. I brought a bunch of stuff home from the cottage so that I could pack some more orders tonight. That's what all that stuff in the kitchen I was talking about to Andrew is. And then going to be, as we maybe watch some TV tonight, burgers and packing is going to be my thing until I get tired. I'm getting tired quickly today. This time change has been difficult for me. I don't know about how you all are doing with it. I mentioned that in the D stash, and some people are loving it, and some people like me are not. Me and my mom, we are not loving the time change. Um, it has been difficult for us. Andrew said they also made all the dudes in the book a-holes. Someone thinks that's charming, but they kept making comments. Oops. They kept making, sorry, my screen showing me comments, and I was like, I would drop this dude so quick if he talked to me like that. So I'm going to toast the bread though tonight because it dissolved last night. Really? I didn't notice, but okay, that's fine. Andrew says, I got knocked out today. I was so worn out. I think it's the time change. I really do. Um, it's been difficult this time. All right. Now we're going to get into some of the things that we have in our stash that we're going to show you tonight. ITL 35. ITL 35 are these Hill Tribe Silver rounds, I guess, but beautifully decorated metal beads. We have 6 of them available. They're $6 each, and they are approximately 17.5 millimeters. Anderson, I think we've also been pushing ourselves pretty hard. Yes, we have. Trying to do a lot. Anderson, I've been trying to finish that sculpture and it's going so slow. I know. I feel so bad. He's been having such a hard time getting that done. All right. ITL 36. Let's see what else I've got in this bag of mine. These 2 beautiful lamp work beads. Whoa. It's a pair of lamp work beads. Beautiful flowers on them. And they were 22 for the pair, but I'm going to bring them down to 18 for you all. It's a really good deal. 18. And whoa, there they are. We've sold 2 of the 35s. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Andrew says, I don't mind doing it. I actually like beading sculptures. It's just slow. Yeah. Especially for everything going on right now. It's hard to do that and know you have other things that need to be done too. But have to finish that. All right. We have this vintage Japanese glass strand. Vintage Japanese glass in black. These are 6.3, 7.4. Yeah, 6.3 and 7.4 millimeter beads. It's a graduated strand. It's very long. It is 24, 25, about 32 inches. And it is only $24. IPL 37. Faceted rounds. Vintage Japanese. $24. Andrew says, if this doesn't sell, I'll keep it. Okay, if it doesn't sell, I'm putting it over on the printer for Andrew. Andrew says, plus they need it for the show in Pittsburgh, so there's a lot of pressure. Yeah. And they need it soon, right? ITL 38. This was 16. I'll bring it down to 14. These are electroplated quartz nuggets. It's a shorty strand. Let's see here. This is a 7-inch strand. Oh, we just sold 37. Thank you so much. It's not going over on the printer. Electroplated quartz. Look how pretty that is. Beautiful nuggets. I love how they're rough and bumpy, but they're beautifully colored. And it's ITL 38. Andrew says, I also have to figure out the base. The places I contacted don't have what I need. Yeah, he's been trying to figure out a base for the sculpture. He had a really good idea, but it's not going to work out. We put 37 away since that has sold. We appreciate that. It'll all help with our trip to Italy. That's maybe like a meal, lunch. That'll be awesome. We appreciate that so much. I have no idea what things cost in Italy yet, so we'll see. Wonder if they have decaf coffee in Italy. We'll see. Is it a sin to ask for decaf coffee in Italy? I don't know. I don't know. Whoa. Okay. We've got this beautiful red Vaseline glass. And I'm going to do these. I have them a little more. I'm going to do them for $2 each. And as you can see, we have a number of them 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30. There's 33 of them here. ITL 39, $2 each. This is red Vaseline glass. And beautiful, beautiful, beautiful old glass. And let's see. Oh, 38 just sold. Thank you. Thank you. That's a breakfast. At least for one of us, right? Andrew says, I can ask Jen, her husband owns a cafe. I know, right? We've just sold 5 of 39. Thank you so much. So what's that? 28 left. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to go a little over 40 today because we just kind of got started with some of the beads again. We're doing the artwork and stuff. I wasn't expecting that. So we're going to go over a little bit today, but not too much because not too many people tuning in today. We appreciate those of you who are, though. We thank you so much for hanging out with us. It means a lot to us. Andrew said these are made in Bohemia/Czechia and traded to Africa. And Andrew said they remind me of red gummies, right? They do. They do. Oh, we just sold another 6 of those. Thank you so much. So it's 11. We have 22 of them left. And this is a strand of beautiful furnace glass tubes. So if you like the gemstone tubes that we had earlier, and a lot of beautiful gemstone tubes, grabbed any of those. These would kind of blend in maybe and make it fun. This is the furnace glass. Was 16 for the strand, now $12 for the strand. Andrew says, I think there's also a lot of people anxious about voting tomorrow. Yeah, we're voting tomorrow, and it's important to get out there and vote. So we plan to be doing that tomorrow. And amongst everything else, we wanted to make sure we were here for that vote. It's actually one of the things that we looked at when we were trying to plan our trip, is to try to make sure we were still here to vote for that. 40 has just sold multiple times. Thank you so much. Wish I had more of those, but I've only got that one. Andrew says, I've been seeing a lot of people just worn out. I'm worn out. I know that. ITL 41. The news every day. I try not to watch it, but it has found me on social media. I don't know about you all out there. Andrew says, when is our anniversary? Our anniversary is the 12th of the anniversary. That's when we met. And then I think, I want to say we were married on the 5th. I'm pretty sure it's in 2 days. I think our anniversary, our wedding anniversary, was exactly 1 week before. So I think it was the 5th. Maybe. Let me see. You think I would remember that? Wedding, yes, November 5th, 2021. 4 years ago. How's it 4 years ago already that we got married? That's wild to me. So wild to me. Okay, these are, they were 6. I'll bring them down to $5 each. We've got 2 of them available. These are little Czech glass, vintage Czech beads. They do glow very well under a black light. And they were strands, but they were so old, they were on twine strands that most of them broke. So we put them in bags. So that is one strand. Was $6, now $5. We've got 2 of them available. Oh, somebody's either catching up or watching back. We sold another 15 and 16. Thank you so much. That's some of those. I think some of the some of the 2 beads. That was one of the Demorterite and the Crazy Lace agates, I believe. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anderson, I just saw the marriage certificate, right? Susie says, I mailed my vote and it has been received. That's good. How long have we been together? Is it 20 this year? No, 18 this year, I believe. 2007 to 25, that's 18, right? Yeah, it's going to be 20 in 2027. How is that even a thing that we're in 2027? That's so weird. 2027. Everything is so weird right now. Time is flying by. Where is it going? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I thought these were really fun. This is ITL 42. Andrew says, I also have some books to sell tonight if people want. Oh. Anybody interested in some books? It's a wild night tonight. I thought, honestly, y'all, I thought it was going to be this. I brought enough of this stuff and the tubes and the lapis the new stuff that we brought in. But then we added the art and the ceramics and the prints. It's just a wild night tonight. Andrew says, do you know when Brandon is going to Cambodia? He just said January, but I didn't get a date from him yet. Andrew said the book is about oddities. So these are all Moonglow small rounds. No, not Moonglow. Sorry. Fiber optic. Fiber optic small rounds. Most of them are, let me get in here. 6mm, I believe. So I can grab one. Let me grab you. Okay. Didn't want to dump them out, but we just sold an 18 and 19 as well. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, these are just about 6mm. And these are all these beautiful fiber optic beads. You get a whole bag of them. Super fun. These are a nice way, like you don't have to, like you get a whole bag of them, but you don't have to use the whole bag of them, right? These are a nice way to add a little bit of, like if you want at the end of an earring, to add a little bit of bling at the end, use that at the end of your head pin, or you can use them mixed into a bracelet, just use them as spacers and they'll give you a little bit of flash between everything. Just a good way. Andrew says cat's eye, they're a glass. Oh, cat's eye then. Cat's eye. There we go. Cat's eye beads. ITL 42. Gonna put some of these away. I just sold a 21. Thank you so much. Andrew says, I saw someone make a knotted necklace with these on Sundance and it was like $500. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that. We were talking about that. We just knotted them and it was like a $500 necklace. It's a little bit wild. I'm gonna put these away. Andrew says it's the same thing as fiber optic. Fiber optic or cat's eye. I wasn't sure if they were the same or not. It's good to know. I'm also, am I gonna, yes, let's put these away as well. Just to make some room. Still have 22 of those left, I believe it was. If they can get it, good for them. More power to them, says Andrew. I know, right? Hey, if you can sell, if you can buy a bag of these for $10 and sell it, make something and sell it for 500, please do it. And then come back and buy more bags of those from us. We won't even raise the price on you. There's a stone called cat's eye, but it's different. Says Andrew. Yeah. Cat's eye flash versus the cat's eye stone. All right. Next up. These are from the 1800s. It's agate from Idar Oberstein. Is that right, Andrew? I think that's where it's from. We're going to sell them in pairs. I have 3 pairs available. It's $12 a pair. I think that's right. Andrew says, and then hire me, right? I'm not fast, but I work hard, he says. These are beautiful. Says, yep, it's in Germany. I want to go one day. Idar Oberstein from the 1800s. selling them by the pair, $12 a pair, 3 pairs available. And let me see, these are generally about 9.5 by 33, but they're all individually cut. They're not exact. Andrew says these are a part of history. Yeah, when you get beads from like the 1800s, and they're still in pretty good shape. I mean, for the most part, there's going to be some dings and some, like this one has a little bit of a nick out of the top. But for as old as they are, they've seen a lot of time go by. And I think there's kind of really, really special. We just sold a number 1. Thank you so much. Sulo B and Bryce both did residencies there. Nice. Idor Oberstein. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but let's see here. What else should I get into today? How about this? We had it at 24. I'll do it at 20. This is a whole bunch, whoa, of African glass beads. Like a whole bunch. Literally a bunch. There we go. A whole bunch. Look at all those beads. It was 24. I'm bringing it down to 20. And we have just that one available. One bunch of them available. I don't know if you can see that. There they are. See them all? Andrew says, yeah, and they didn't do any lapidary work either. That's interesting. To be there and not do that, you would think. Andrew says, that's too cheap. I know. Trying to entice people today. Trying to entice some people. That's the gift for the night. I always try and have like 1 or 2 that I feel like are really, really good deals, like maybe too good for y'all. And that's kind of the gift there. $20 for all those African beads. I'm going to put this one away. 41. It's still available, both of those. I'm going to put 42 available, or 42 away. Those are still available. And we're going to move the Idar Oberstein beads over. Look at those. Look how beautiful those are. I love those. History. That's history, y'all. And these are not. Look at all these beads. African glass. Whole bunches of it. Whole bunch of it. $20. I don't even know how many. I don't even want to count how many beads are in there because that might make me too sad. 45. Of course, they haven't sold yet, so who knows if anybody's going to grab that. That's a good deal, though. What else? Some candle nuts. Candle nut beads. We had this at 18 a strand. I'm going to bring it down to 14 a strand. We have 2 of these available. Anderson, same. We always try to price things competitively, but also put at least one that's incredible price, like finding treasure at the store, right? So these are large candle nuts. They are light, very, very light, hollowed out. And I love this kind of patina they have on them with some polished edges too. You get the whole strand of them. And it is approximately 28 millimeters, 28 millimeter beads. ITL 45. We'll go to 50 tonight, and then we'll say goodbye after that, I think. Oh, I like these. Is there only one of these left? Yes. ATL 46. This is beautiful little shell beads. Just some of y'all like these beautiful little shells and all these kind of shapes and things that we get with the shells. Aren't those pretty? Those little ovals, flat ovals. And they are approximately, let's see if I can get one here, 7.5 by 10 millimeters. 7.5 by 10 millimeters. Andrew says, my goal was to save up a few thousand to go shopping for the store, but I don't think that'll happen. Seems like whenever we save money, we had to dip into it. Yeah. I love the pale pink with the tan, said Andrew, right? They just feel good. Yeah, we were trying to save up more so that we could do some shopping for the store and stuff while we were there, but I don't know how much we're going to be able to do, unfortunately. I'm going to put these away so we make some room. ITL 43. And I'm going to clear these off just because they're taking up space. You know what? I'm going to move them over. I still feel like somebody's going to want these. This whole bunch of those? 20 bucks. Okay. ITL 47. Okay, next up is beautiful lampwork pendant. Glass heart pendant. Look at that. Was 18, bringing it down to 14. Andrew says it'll be exciting just to go. Yeah, it's going to be. I'm excited to go. Just see what we can see. Hang out, do your workshop. Andrew says Jen said that she'll drive us to a regular grocery store since we have a kitchen in the apartment and we don't have to eat out every meal. That'll be nice. I'm kind of looking forward to eating out a little bit. Hopefully we can because we don't do that very often. So when we're in Italy, I would like to definitely eat out once in a while. But I was concerned about that, whether we'd be able to um, save some money somehow by not having to eat out all the time. Okay, I'm gonna put 44 in. There's a lot of nice beads in here, y'all. And then ITL 48. All right, y'all. I don't know if it's too early for this or not, but got some charms here. And look at those. These are the stainless steel charms. You got these jumping reindeer. Is it too early? Am I doing this too early? I don't know, but I know some people get in the mood for it right after Halloween, kind of me. So I had to start bringing some of these out. $2 each for the prancing reindeer charms in stainless steel. $2 each, 4 of them available. ITL 48. Andrew says, I'm excited, but I'll be more excited once we're on our way. It's always the lead up that makes me a little crazy. Like I purposefully took time off to work in the studio before the trip and I didn't know where it went. I know, right? Mostly because I've been busted. Andrew says, I thought you were going to pull out Easter stuff, lol. No, not quite Easter. Not there yet. But I did pull out some of the holiday fun. ITL 49. These are 14-karat gold plated stainless steel mitten charms. Look how cute those are. Those are $3 each. 2 of them available. Soft enamel with the 14-karat gold plating over the stainless steel. Andrew said, I've already been thinking winter holidays for months. I know, right? Me too. I know some people are just like, no, don't put the Christmas music on yet. And I'm like, yes, put the Christmas music on now. All right. And the last one we're going to do for tonight, ITL 50. Also going. Wait, how many of these do I have? Oh, there's another pack in there. Okay, so I have 4. ITL 50. Oh, we just sold one of the 48s. Thank you so much. One of the prancing reindeer charms. We've got 3 of them still left. Next up, we have another 14-karat gold plated with a soft enamel Christmas gift charm, $3 each. 4 of those available. You know what? Let's give you an extra deal tonight. $2.50 each on those. And we'll do $2.50 each on those. Why not? Immediate markdowns. Look at that. $2.50 each now for the mittens and the gifts. Andrew said, I started on Halloween stuff in June or July. We started selling in August. So the other day on Halloween, it felt like it had already been done. I know. Andrew says, I have nostalgia for Christmas music, but it isn't something I would listen to just to listen to otherwise. Yeah, I have nostalgia for it. I like it, but it might be more of the nostalgia than anything. I don't know. But I do enjoy listening to my Christmas music right after, generally after Halloween. And I did have some Christmas records, and I don't know where they are. Anyway, I was just thinking about that. But that's the show for tonight, y'all. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out with us. I am going to wrap this up and get the spreadsheet going, and also the invoices Think, William, think, use your brain. And then I will be wrapping up the D stash. So if you did not check out the D stash, please do. You'll have probably about another 30 minutes. I said I was closing it at 9, but you'll have at least another 30 minutes probably to do that and claim anything in there that you would like. And then we're closing that up, and I will be invoicing for that tonight as well. All right. Trying to get some extra what we can in the bank account so that we can do some things. All right. Let's see. Oops. Andrew says, I do like Nat King Cole. I haven't been hearing him a lot lately. I think I have a Nat King Cole record. I think that's what I got. Maybe I'll put it on to do my invoicing to tonight. I don't play my record player very much. And I do have a record I bought last year. I don't even know if it came for Christmas, but I ordered it and it finally came. I don't know if I've ever listened to it. I got to find it in my stash of records. They're not very well organized, y'all. Andrew says, I'm happy Dolly Parton has seen a big resurgence. Me too. She deserves it. I remember watching her on like Grand Ole Opry and all those kind of, I'm assuming it was that kind of show. Back when my grandparents used to watch that. And I'm glad that people are, I don't know that anyone ever didn't like her. It wasn't that they didn't like her, but I think she's coming into her own again. And as Andrew said, she's having a resurgence. So that's really nice. I like that for her. She's a good people, I think. Susan says, good night, everyone. Sweet dreams. Good night, Susan. I know. Susan put the sleepy face. This time change has made me sleepy. I feel like it's midnight. It's 10 o'clock. Andrew said I used to listen to her with my grandma. Yeah, my grandmother used to always had like some kind of the older country music playing in the kitchen. She had a cassette player and she would play her cassettes. And I know she had some Dolly Parton ones. So that's kind of good memories too. Good times. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. And we will see you back here probably tomorrow. All right. And don't forget, if you missed this part of the show, we're having an online store sale. So at allegorygallery.com, save 25% off using the discount code CHOW. Did you know CHOW means hello and goodbye? Either one. But 25% off in the online store using discount code CHOW. That starts for you all tonight. We are not publicizing that yet, though. So the main people will start seeing that probably sometime tomorrow, maybe tomorrow afternoon. Andrew says, I don't know if folks know Slim Whitman. I know that name, but I couldn't know. I know of the name. That's it. Anybody else know? All right, everybody, I'm going to go. Thank you so much. Have an amazing evening, and we'll see you back here most likely tomorrow. Have a great one, everybody. Bye now.